One of the important things to remember when starting your fitness journey is to take measurements of yourself, because as we were talking about earlier, taking your measurements and losing inches is more important than losing weight in itself. So we're going to use Tia today as an example, and we're going to take different measurements of her body so that you guys all know the correct form for measuring your body. So the best thing that I like to do is to start from the top, work your way to the bottom. That way you know that you don't miss any body parts that are important to take measurements for. I like to use a very flexible measuring tape, and I use the inches side. And it's important to start at the very beginning and measure to the greatest eighth of an inch, because even the smallest changes are the most effective and important to measure as well. So we're going to start by measuring Tia's neck. So this is the first part that you want to start measuring. All right, I'm going to start at the nape of the neck, and I'm going to wrap it around and measure. All right, and you want to measure to the greatest eighth of an inch. All right, the next is going to be the chest. All right, so I'm going to have Tia raise up her hands, and we're going to start right under the chest. We're going to cross over the chest. And again, keep the tape nice and tight, measure to the greatest eighth of an inch. Next is going to be your arms. So you're going to measure the circumference around the mid part of your arm, measure around the bicep and the tricep. Okay, so I'm going to, from the elbow to the shoulder joint, I'm going to find a halfway point, and that's going to be the widest point in the arm that we're going to measure. All right, and all I'm going to do is just wrap this tape directly around the bicep and tricep and measure to the greatest eighth of an inch. All right, the next area to measure is going to be your waist and your hips. So I know that these are very, close in proximity to each other, but your waist is going to be around your belly button, and your hips are going to be located at the very top of your hip bones. That's where we're going to measure. All right, so if Tia can raise her hands again, we're going to find the navel, and we're going to place the measuring tape right there, and we're going to, again, to the greatest eighth of an inch, measure the waist. Next is going to be the hips. So if Tia can locate the top of her hip bone, right there, I'm going to place the measuring tape right at the top of that hip bone there. Okay? And again, wrap it all the way around, making sure that when I reach the other hip, it's located at the other top of the hip bone. Okay? Next is going to be the thighs. All right? So again, we want to find that midpoint between the two joints. So your hip bone and your knee, we're going to find that midpoint between the two. All right, we're going to place the tape at that midpoint, and we're going to wrap all the way around, measure to the greatest eighth of an inch. And finally, we're going to measure the calves. So again, locate the two joints between the knee and the ankle. Find that midpoint, and that's going to be the widest width that you're going to measure. And you're going to just wrap that tape around, measure to the greatest eighth of an inch. So keep in mind that you want to start, when you're starting your fitness routine, you want to measure from the first day. And I would say every 2 weeks or so, you want to measure yourself and see if you're losing inches as well as losing weight. So best of luck.